Welcome to Drum and Drummer, a podcast focused on drums, drumming and drummers. I'm George Pickering and that's Ben Winty, and we are both professional drummers in this business we call music. So stick around and join us as we pass the time whilst trying to stay in time.
You could almost go as far as saying an evil child.
Yeah.
I'm gonna sneeze! Oh. By appointment to the king himself, it's this week's Drum and Drummer.
Yeah.
Unofficial. It's an unofficial appointment.
It is.
But it's definitely one I think he's up for. So
which member of the royal family would enjoy us most? Do you reckon?
Harry.
Yeah.
If the royal family were a band, he'd be the drummer, sure. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's rock and roll through and through. That's what, yeah.
Yeah.
Sure, he'll pop on an old Nazi costume now and then, but that's what you get, isn't it? You know?
Exactly.
Play the game, it's going to be a wild card.
Yep.
You know? It's going to be
That
a
was
+4
wild,
in that game
wasn't
of Uno. Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Think of the
That is.
optics, but...
Yeah, that is mental. But, you know, he's now married Meghan Markle. So who's won there? You know?
I think we've all won.
I think we've all won.
Or we've all lost. What would William play in the band?
Trombone.
Where's that come from?
I don't know.
Just-
That was just the first thing I thought. Because he's
Did
tall.
you see
and
my
the trombone
bald
is
head?
long. Yeah.
And think,
Trombone.
that's...
Yeah, I think I did. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the connection.
Well, that's the royal family done. I don't think we need to discuss them again.
No.
No.
We don't have
Um,
to.
We don't. What have you got? Should we start with drums this week? Just
Let's
so we,
start with drums.
just so
Yeah.
people are like, okay, they're still talking about drums.
Yeah. I did a gig.
There we go. Brilliant.
Let's
Start with
start there. Was the gig local? Was it? Fuck. No, it was a one-year gig up in Norfolk. Digital.
Wow. Not
Yeah.
only Norfolk, but North.
Yeah, North Norfolk.
So past Norwich, innit? But what's great about driving up there, I used to drive up there a lot, broccoli, as a kid, because that's where my family are originally from.
Mm.
And for a long while, my mum's mum lived up there. So there's a lot of drives up that A11.
Yeah.
It can be a right bastard. We had a pleasant journey, though. Nothing seemed
That's
to
good.
ail us too bad. But what's great is you start seeing, as you head up towards East Anglia, you start seeing road signs for places from Partridge,
Oh, really?
you know, Royston, Swaffham, you know. But yeah, no, it's a gig, so it's a long journey. So what we had to do was, I could do a late night drive, sure.
Yeah.
You know.
Sure.
I'm happy to do so. Bit too far this one to come back the same
How
night,
far?
innit? It was just over 4 hours
Yeah.
with no traffic. So it was a hotel job, and the tactic, if you're not doing this, you should be, get an hour done after the gig. Come back an hour.
Yeah.
So then the next day you get up, you've already done a bit of the journey.
Yeah.
Simple tack. Don't stay right close to the venue, you know.
No.
Get a bit of the journey done on the road.
Yeah.
It's just a lovely tea lodge. The gig itself, so this was our, I think, 3rd or 4th one-year gig. So there's still quite a bit of fresh stuff in the set, you know, a bit of repertoire. That's not locked in, A, as a band, and B, as a individual, you know, with all of us. But we're all, you know, good players, so we can do the job for sure, but we've not got that like 10 to 15 gigs under our belt. It's locked in. We all know what we're doing. And I define it as the difference between playing the songs and performing the songs.
Mm.
A lot of the songs we've done in the old iteration of the band Victoriana, so that's all good.
Yeah.
But we're now a 4-piece, so it's slightly different arrangement wise. But there's still some fresh stuff in the set. But I've got to be honest, I played like an absolute prat. Just nothing felt right.
Yeah.
You know, just felt like, do I even play the drums? Am I having a laugh? Have I somehow convinced people that this is fine, that I could do this?
Yeah.
But I think on the face of it, it was fine. It was fine. No one really noticed or whatever. But, internally, when you're just like, everything I'm doing is hard work.
Yeah.
Moving around the kit is hard work. I feel like my arms are both stiff and stuck in glue.
Yeah.
Why has my foot stopped working? Why is my foot not working? It's not doing... The body's not doing what my brain wants it to do.
Yeah.
But my brain is also going, I don't care. I don't care what you do. So you kind of... You have to try and like refocus. Just, okay. And and then you start going like... You start pulling your punches. Oh, I won't do that, Phil. Because if I can't even play a 4/4 beat... What chance have I got whittling around the toms?
Yeah.
So then you start simplifying stuff, but then that starts kind of putting you off because you're thinking on the fly when maybe you shouldn't be. And then there was just one major obvious error where and this was on a song I've played for years. And this is where it comes. This is where they come, isn't it? This is Love Machine, Girls Aloud. Pretty easy. It's pretty easy, isn't it? Right. It's fast paced for sure. But the bridge kind of goes like half time, and the first bridge just kind of goes like cymbal hits every couple of bars, and then a build up into the chorus.
Yeah.
The second bridge, I like to play around with it, and I go into like a half time rock beat.
Yeah.
On the ride, hitting crashes and stuff. And I just transitioned to that section 8 bars early, while it should have still been the double time verse. And I rolled, and then I'm like, oh, fuck's sake. And then I think it was the first song of set 3. And then you're just like, oh, bollocks. But no one cares.
No, but what were the rest of the band doing when you made this monumental error?
Well, they just kept going, professional and all that.
But did they look round?
I think it was a little bit like, oh, and then...
Yeah.
But then, very quickly, I'm back in the beat, back in the double time.
Yeah.
But you're just like, oh. But then you go, look, it's been I was up early, picking up a van at 10, driven for 6 hours.
Yeah.
And you're straight into set up, sound check. It's rain, Not that that's an excuse.
No, but it's a valid reason.
But then, this is like 12 hours after I've left the house.
Yeah.
Starting set 3. And it's a long day. So you just have to go, well, it's one of them.
Yeah.
One of them
And
gigs.
it is a long day. I mean, I spoke about it. It was around this time last year, but my gig with Dean, I may as well talk about it again. If we got any new listeners, where we went up to Leeds and we left at about 10 a.m. and got there about 5 or 6, and then set up, did the gig. And then that was the night where we had a hotel booked in Sheffield or something. And Dean said, I reckon we could do the drive back tonight. And it was the same thing, 4 hours. And we did. And the first 2 hours were fine. The second 2 hours were like, right, we need to make sure we're both awake now, But his reasoning made sense, He's like, as soon as we get to that hotel, we're going to be awake still. And be like, why don't we just go? And then we'll wake up late tomorrow and then go. And that is the safer, probably correct option. But if you can get back to your own bed, because you're a young buck, it's worth it. But it is a long day.
Which I am not anymore.
And
I think as well, there must be a little bit of, I think, when you have a gig like that, like I had on Saturday, there's a lot more thought has to go into it because of the logistics, right? So, I had to book as band manager, co-manager, assistant to the regional manager. I had to, book van hire and accommodation and make sure logistically that all works. And then you've got to make sure you leave enough time to get there, The M25 can be a harsh mistress.
Yeah.
So you got to get your timings right. And boy, did I get them right. Strolled up to the venue, 10 to 5. Perfect. Perfect. So you kind of, I guess there's an extra element of, you've come a long way and this gig isn't just a half-hour drive play. Yeah, you're back home by 1 a.m. It's taken up the majority of your weekend. So it's almost like subconsciously you apply a bit more pressure to like, you want this to be good, you want this to be worth it. And we, musicians, we get a lot of satisfaction from performing well. You get satisfaction from a good crowd reaction, and the crowd were great. The crowd really liked it. But then there has to be some sort of self-satisfaction from yourself, that you feel like you've done a good job, that you've enjoyed doing this. And so maybe when you have a gig that far away that occupies a lot of your mental capacity in both organisation and the weekend itself, subconsciously there's a bit more like, oh, I want to make sure this is worth it. And maybe that just plays into it a bit. And when it's not quite going your way, you feel a bit more, if it has a bit more of an impact on you, because it's been a bit more of a bigger event for you. But I don't take. It's hard to. It doesn't get me. It's not going to ruin me. Do you know what I mean? I'm not going to dwell on it anymore. I did dwell on it a little bit on the drive back, but I think it's that balance of, I've got high standards for myself and I've got high standards for the band, so I want to play well. I want people to go, he's a good drummer, whether that's a crowd or the rest of the band, or as a band, we played well, we did that, we did our job well. They've paid for entertainment, they've had good entertainment. So I want to deliver to a certain level, but I'm also not going to cry. Do you know what I mean? I'm not going to be like, fuck it, and let it. So it's that balance. So it's making sure, I think, like I mentioned before, again, if there's any new listeners, my juggling balls, you know about my big juggling balls. I've thrown you you fondled my juggling balls several times. You got your things, your juggling ball. Each ball is a thing. Your posture, how you're holding the sticks, your rhythm, all these things. If things aren't going well, what ball have you dropped? Can you locate the ball you've dropped? And then can you pick it back up? And if you can isolate those things, find out what it is, maybe that's not going right, and correct it while you're going, you can sort of self-correct as you sort of go. So I don't think, okay, well, I was playing and it was like, right, what's not going well? What's not? Right, okay, just make sure I'm getting... But then you start feeling like, is my foot on the pedal in the right place? Is it? Yeah. Why does this feel like sticky? Why does it feel too bouncy? Or so you just kind of... Anyway, so I just don't think... it was disappointing overall. But we live, we learn, we move on. And what I'll do is I will put it right at the next gig.
Yeah, and it's an interesting one, isn't it? Because it is that self-feeling of, even though everyone is a happy bunny at the end of the gig, the band and the crowd and anyone there, if you don't feel like you've played as well as you can, then it doesn't matter at all. And that was what I said 2 years ago when I went back to Pat. That was sort of what it was. I'd sort of finish a gig and just be aware that I felt stiff the whole time. Like my arms felt stiff. Yeah, it just felt like, God, this isn't nearly as good as I could do. What am I missing, And I mean, for me, it was, here's a segue, it was just about practicing more and working on my technique. Because I used to, finish gigs and my wrist would really hurt, my left wrist, and that got corrected. And now, just in general, I feel like more on top of things with a gig. And you feel like, I don't know, the only way I can describe it to something else is like if you go for a run and you haven't really done any running in a while and you feel like sluggish and you feel like your feet are so heavy. But if you've been stretching and practicing a lot, and then there's this amazing feeling if you do it more where you just feel really light and you feel like you're just floating. And it's that thing of going like, well, how do I feel after a gig now? And it's like, I do feel like, God, that was fun. I really enjoyed that. Do you know what I mean? As opposed to 2 years ago where every gig I did, I was like, that wasn't as good as I could do, And I'm not saying I'm at my peak. I'm not saying, oh, that was the best I could do. But I'm saying more like, put the practice in now. And now
I
it's
think I
like
definitely
fun.
Didn't feel match fit.
Yeah.
Like my lower back was giving me a bit of a jip. And, it was the second gig in over a month because I'd been away. And because I'd moved house as well. It was like so much going on. Drums had really not been a priority. Holiday, engagement, getting the new house up together. So, I didn't put any time into like sitting behind a kit, which to be fair, I quite rarely do. But I think I've got a freshman year gig on this coming Saturday. That stuff's a lot more ingrained in the memory and the muscle memory. So I agree with you, yeah. And I think that's something that I feel, I could just do with a bit of hours behind the kit. Just get the freedom. It's hard as well when it's cold, and then they're like, right, you're on, and you go in, and the room's cold, and you're just in a shirt, and your arms are cold.
It is.
But anyway, it happens to everyone. And I remember doing like Oxygen Thief tours, and you do a gig, and the crowd was like full and enjoyed it. But I didn't play well. It wasn't quite as sharp. And you're like, ah. And then you do one where there's only 40 people in. Yeah. And then you're like, I fucking nailed that one.
Yeah.
That was... Yeah. So, horses for courses. Happens to everyone. And you just got to, get over it and put it right. All right. Let's move on. What, have you got anything?
What did I say? Football.
Oh, yeah. Football.
I started playing football more, which is great.
Football.
Yeah. I'm in this group chat of about 50 men, and we try and arrange a game. And wow, this is it. Chance to be a fine thing. And I was originally in this group because we used to play in that league where we got beat like 20-0 every week. So after a while, I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. We are shit. But then now we like play against each other. So we're just as bad as each other, so it's good. And it's just fun, innit? Like, I don't know
what... do it 5-a-side, 7-a-side, 11-a-side, 20-a-side?
However many we can get, because it's like... Usually it's like 5 or 6-a-side, but last Thursday evening, we did 7-a-side, and we had a bigger pitch, and we were like, bloody hell, here we go,
Yeah. That's good, isn't it, when you go on the 7-a-side pitch?
Oh, it's amazing. You're like, oh, this feels like real. But it's just funny. I think what's funny about it is if you make the smallest mistake, it can just feel like, especially because I don't know everyone there. The only person I really know is Dean, and he's been at every single one, but he wasn't there on Thursday. I was like, it's all right. Like, I know enough. And I turned up. I was like, I'm out of my depth without Dean. I know everyone else, but like just enough sort of thing. And like kickoff happened, and our goalie someone got the ball. I think it was our goalie. Passed it to me. I went to, get it. Oh, tripped over my own feet and fell over. I was like, that's good, isn't it? You know what I mean? Yeah. And it's like, and you kind of, I always have this thought in my head of like...
That's what I did on Saturday. Someone gave me some drumsticks. I tripped over my own feet, fell over and left
exactly. Machine. But I always have this feeling that like the better players are sort of, already watching to be like, right, who's good and who's shit? Who am I going to pass to? And who am I going to absolutely never give the ball to? And it is a nerve-wracking experience when you get the ball past you and it's hurtling at you and you're like, right, make this a good touch. And you're like, oh, no, I fucked it. Excuse me. My first touch has sent it flying further than it was kicked to me, or I've just fallen over, But
and your pants fell down.
This is it. But there is nothing better than scoring a goal. I don't know what it is. I don't know what the psychology is in it.
Yeah.
But when that ball goes in the net, my God, it's like...
So I like playing football. Physically, it's harder these days on the body, but also to get at least 10 40-year-old men.
Well, this is it. That's together. What is tricky. Yeah.
I've been trying to get... I play 5-a-side quite a bit. I've been trying to get that back going after a crazy year. We've not managed to do it yet, but we will keep trying. But one of my life highlights was playing football at uni. And we managed to scrabble a team together, not really in any official capacity. But I scored the winning goal in a 2-1 win.
Oh.
I don't think I've topped that. I don't know if...
In anything.
And it was a pretty good goal. Yeah. I'm not going to lie. And I think that's the crown and glory. But then on
Yeah.
the flip side, I don't think I've told anyone this, right? But I love playing football, right? And I really wanted to play. I really liked playing in goal when I was a kid. And I'd play with my schoolmate Lee after school. Every day we'd play. And I'd always go and goal. I had my full David Seaman in Euro 96 goalie kit, you know. And I'd just go and goal, and Lee would just take shots, you know. I really enjoyed it, right? And I wanted to join a local football team, but it clashed with county brass band. And so it was like, well, I want to do the music. So I never really got into like a team when I was playing for a team when I was young. But I went on the county brass band. We did like these European tours every couple of years. And the first one, so I think I was end of year 7, and we went to France for a week or something, or a long weekend. And you just go and do some concerts in various bits of France. And obviously, like, parents would come as helpers on the trip. And obviously they film it, you know, they got a proper old school camcorder because this was 1997, filming it. And the one bit of footage of us all playing football in a park, right, is the ball coming through the air to me. I take a swing to volley the ball, completely miss it, and spin round and fall over.
Amazing.
And that's the only bit of, well, cut that bit out. Don't put that bit in.
Yeah.
You know? But the goal I scored at uni, the volley from the edge of the area, nowhere to be seen.
No.
Nowhere to be seen. No.
Yeah, that's sad, isn't it? I thought I'd talk about practice quickly. It's funny learning. Well, it's funny learning an instrument, isn't it? Because it's kind of, there's no end goal. You know what I mean? And it's just, I was playing something the other day, and you know, like, life's still a bit mad. And he was almost like, you know, how are you getting on with this? Like, have you been able to, you know, do much? And I was showing him this paradiddle exercise that I've been doing. And paradiddles before were kind of, I knew what it was, you know.
Sure.
Right, left, right, left, right, left, left. In case anyone thought I didn't know what it was. But beyond that, I didn't know really how to develop them. You know, that was one of the reasons I thought it'd be good to go back to them. Because I remember trying to teach myself and being like, right, paradiddles, that's something I can do. And then you're trying to do it and you're like, okay, I can do it, but I know there's a way to get it faster, but I have no idea. So a lot of the work we've been doing is kind of not intentionally led up to paradiddles. It's not like paradiddles is the final thing, but that is where we're at right now. You know, and like working on doubles and just working on the Morella stuff and all these different things. And it all accumulates to making it so I can do a paradiddle at whatever BPM. And I was doing this thing, and it wasn't quite as good as I wanted it to be. Basically, it was like meant to be 160 BPM, and I was doing it, but it was like, this is mental. And he dropped down to 150, and I was a bit like, and he was like, it's cool. Like, he was like, think of all the stuff you've done to get here. Do you know what I mean? And it's an interesting one, isn't it? Learning an instrument, because it's just all small wins, you know? It's like you try something at a certain tempo, and then you're like, oh my God, I can do it. But it's not even that much of a moment. It's almost like, yep, I can do it that now. Cool. What's next, you know? And then it's always like, what's next? And then you're always never quite done the thing. And then you have to sometimes look back and be like, well, when I started, I struggled doing tap strokes at whatever BPM, and now I'm doing all this crazy shit. So, I don't know, maybe this podcast today is about reflection. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know,
Sure.
It's sort of like, you know, when you're practicing stuff or when you're gigging, it's like, I didn't quite do that right. But like you with your gig, it's like, I wasn't quite on it. But you have started a new band and you did drive all that way. You know, it's like all those massive and small wins, you know, and it's like, it's not quite as good as I want it to be, but my God, you know, it's a lot more than other people are doing, not to compare to other people, but it's fun. It's still enjoyable. And I think it's that thing of when you're learning something, when you start, I recently started teaching a friend's kid drums, just on a Monday. And and it is fun to watch someone who's never played drums learn drums, because the a graph almost of them learning is so steep immediately. It's like, oh my God, this is amazing. But then it does peter off. I think we spoke to different drummers about this before, where it's like, as you get better, the changes, they're so small, but they're also still massive. You know what I mean? I'm rambling on a bit, but I think with learning with Pat, it's so specific, to what you're learning, and it can feel like, God, am I getting anywhere? But you are, when you look back and you're like, oh shit, I couldn't do that. How many months ago?
It can be hard to see the progress yourself. On a very simple level, it's like getting taller. You don't notice.
Yeah. No.
Or losing weight or gaining weight or things like that. You don't see the difference. And you don't see someone for 3 months and they're like, oh, you're taller. Am I?
Yeah.
Don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, have you lost weight? Yeah, I have. Have you put on weight? All right, yes.
Yeah.
But, I drove to Norfolk. I'm going to eat a tub of M&S mini rolls.
Yeah.
I'm going to do it.
A tub?
Well, yeah, but, over 2 days.
I think any food that comes in a tub.
In tub form. But when you think about it, it's a tub of mini rolls. That feels kind of normal. That's presented as obviously sharing, but it's bullshit, isn't it? But if you start applying the word tub to other food, a tub of cheeseburgers, that is mental, But a tub of mini rolls, well, yeah, it's fine.
It's fine.
Maybe that's the rule. If it's in a tub, maybe it's too much. Maybe it's too much.
I mean, that is the rule. I think the kind of the dirtier the sound of, I don't know. If it,
bucket's quite dirty, isn't it?
Yeah, it's mental.
Trough.
A
trough of mini rolls.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that we all just got on board with that with KFC, a bucket, no one has questioned it. I don't think no one's gone, is that degrading? What's wrong with a plate? And they're like, nah, feed me out of a bucket.
Bucket. You've got to carry it around. You've got to be able to carry it around with you.
Yeah. Like Mark.
Do you want to see a sort of couple of car stickers that made me laugh?
Oh, go on.
One was on the back of a van, a white van. Make your own assumptions about the type of person driving this van. And the sticker on the back said, I'm not gay, but 20 quid's 20 quid.
That's great.
But the other one that made me, I think, judge the driver even more was the sticker. This is a sticker. This is a car sticker that is obviously sold at retail. You can buy this. It's been designed. It's been manufactured. It's been sold. It's been purchased. And I thought this was bit of a weird one. Jesus is my airbag.
Wow. So they don't have an airbag. Is this what do you reckon it is?
I think they do have an airbag. I think there is an airbag in the car. But they're going, I'm driving this giant metal tin on wheels, upwards of 70 miles an hour plus 70 tops.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what happens. Jesus will save me.
Oh, okay.
But A, he won't.
No.
And B, that's some confidence in it.
That is some confidence. I thought it meant like...
But is that what they mean? Is that what they mean? Like...
No, I think you've got it right. I think what I was thinking was, if I die, I die, and it's okay because I'll then be with Jesus. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
But I think I might be wrong. Either way, it's mental. It's mental putting all your... Do you know what I always think about? I always think about that Ricky Gervais...
He's not watching. If he does exit, he's very busy. And if you have a fender bender at the B&Q roundabout and haven't...
Yeah.
He's not going to... Oh, what? I got you.
Yeah.
And just don't worry. I got you.
This is it.
Nah.
I always think
the real airbag will stop you. The real airbag will come out.
Well, that's annoying because then they'll be like, thank you, Jesus. And it's like, it wasn't Jesus. It was brilliant German engineering, for God's sakes,
it was Hans down at the VW factory.
Yeah.
In Gutenberg, or wherever it is. He's the one who did that. Yeah.
Well, not to get too religious, but that invention of lying. No. What's the Ricky Gervais film where... Oh, it is Invention of Lying. And Jonah Hill is in it. And when he hears about this afterlife, he goes, well, I guess I'm not going to really do anything for the rest of my life because I've got this wicked afterlife coming, And things like that remind me of that. Do you know what I mean? Like, oh, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if I crash my car here in Hillsey,
Well, if, you got Jesus is your airbag, but you still got your seatbelt on, haven't you?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? He's not your seatbelt.
Exactly.
He's your airbag.
At what point does Jesus end?
Yeah, he's not your brake pads, is he? Do you know what I mean? He's not your ABS.
Yeah.
But
He's
anyway, believe what you want to
engine.
believe. That's fine. But it's the confidence to pop that on your car.
Yeah.
It's a lot of things in life. Think it might be wrong. People might disagree with you. That's absolutely fine.
Mm.
But then it's the how you, the people who blazonly sort of state that on via a car sticker, or a podcast about drums.
Yeah.
Do you want one more little story before we go?
Yeah, please.
This is a bit of a weird one, right?
This is what I'll just, for the listeners, Ben said there's something else I'm going to tell you about a friend, was it? And
he was definitely not a friend.
Okay.
But a guy I went to school with.
Okay, I'm ready.
Right, it was this guy I went to school with, and I will not name him. I won't name him. But at school, he was an absolute terror. Like, this is secondary school. He was one of them proper bullies.
Yeah.
You could almost go as far as say an evil child.
Yeah.
I'm going to sneeze! Oh.
Never had someone shout it during the sneeze.
Yeah, it came up way quicker than I thought. I thought I'm going to preempt it by letting you know I'm going to sneeze, and then, wow.
Wow, holy moly.
Anyway, so this guy was an absolute prick. I might go as far to say a cunt.
Yeah.
Right? And didn't hang around with him, obviously. If anything, scared of him. Because it was one of them ones, there's no rhyme or reason to the violence.
Yeah.
One of them where you're like, well, it's not even like someone's done something, he's just decided to smash someone's head in. Anyway, the last I heard of him, because you leave school, and I went to a sixth form where pretty much no one from my school went. And I'm only really in contact with one person from school to this day. But you see on the grapevine, maybe you see someone out, and the last I heard of this guy was that not long after school, at some point, he joined the army and was stationed out doing some training in Canada, and sort of broke the rules, left the base, stole a car, and ended up joyriding with some locals, crashing the car, and either breaking someone's pelvis or paralysing someone.
Jesus.
Right? He got kicked out of the army and possibly did some jail time. That's what I heard. Right? So, and you're like, yeah, that's true to form. True to form. Anyway, so I went out on Friday night for a few Guinea with the boys and a burrito down Porter's. Yeah. And a friend of mine used to work with this guy's sister. And this was years ago. And years ago, that connection came up. Oh, I work with this person. I think you went to school with their brother. Oh, yeah, I did. He was a cunt. And my friend saw the other week through her Facebook that the guy I went to school with, who was the bully, he passed away.
Okay.
In September of this year, I think. Now, whatever I think about him, it's sad, isn't it?
Yeah.
Someone dying at my age, But that's not the point of this story. I don't know how he passed. I don't know how he died. But the point of the story was my mate showed me his sister's Facebook posts about it, so I could see it, And I was just scrolling through, and this is what made me sort of laugh, really, in a way. There was a post from her on one day, and it was, thanks for all your kind words about person X, the funeral will be here, a post about him passing and about the funeral and things like that. And as someone who's been recently through family bereavement, it's not nice.
No.
The next day, I was just scrolling up. So the following day on her Facebook, So excited, I've managed to get Imagine Dragons tickets.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
That's mental.
it kind of bemused me a bit.
Yeah.
You know, my brother's dead, but managed to get tickets to
every
Imagine
cloud.
Dragons.
Yeah.
Just a day apart.
Yeah.
I mean, again, buy the tickets. Do you have to post it on Facebook?
Yeah. I wonder what that
You know?
was. I wonder what the psychology of that was. Maybe it's trying to, don't know, not think about it. Or she just doesn't care about her brother. Or grieved very, very quickly. Did all the stages in one day.
Really, how anyone could be excited by getting tickets to see Imagine
Well, that
Dragons.
as well, yeah.
This is so much.
Yeah.
So much I don't understand.
Yeah.
But maybe that's my problem. Anyway, we've got a guest coming up on the show.
What a mental story.
Changing tack quicker than Ben Ainsley in the America's Cup. We have Ben Alldred from Evans, who I met at Graham Russell the other week. He was very kind. He said he's going to come on the show. And we're going to talk about Evans, Primark, Daddario, Ben, his career as a drummer and what he does, and specifically as well, drum tuning and skin selection. So if you've got any questions, listeners, if you've got any questions that you want to pick Ben's brain, not literally, figuratively, with questions about skins, tuning, anything like that, let us know. Send them in to drumanddrummerpod@gmail.com. Written it down.
Well done.
And we can put those questions to him live on the show, pre-recorded on the show. And if you've got anything else, send us a message. Follow us on Instagram, Drum and Drummer Podcast. You'll find George posting shit on there.
Yeah.
But that'll probably do, won't it?
That will do. And look out for us appearing on another podcast.
Whoa! The podcasters become the podcastees.
Yeah.
If
I
that
mean,
is
let's just
correct.
leave it at that. But
We'll leave it at that.
we've been invited on someone else's. So that's exciting, isn't it?
Yeah. Very exciting. Yeah. What you got?
Yeah.
Be interesting being on the other side.
Yeah, this
of
is
the
it.
Zoom call.
Yeah.
You know.
We could do all the
But yeah.
things that past guests have done. Turn up late. Zoom doesn't work, you know. Have a really gainy microphone. Just make it as tricky for them as possible.
Set a microphone up, but then record it through the computer anyway. All the good stuff. All the good stuff.
We'll bring a dog in at some point. That's my favourite, when a guest has a dog.
Or maybe I'll bring my new cat in.
Oh, yeah.
We'll see. Nothing's confirmed. But what is confirmed, this has been Drum and Drummer. I've been Ben Winty. That has been George Pickering. And I use the word that on purpose. He is an object in my life that I use.
Yeah. Not for even capital gain. I don't know
No.
what for.
Who knows? Who knows? We'll find you some sort of role. But thanks very much for listening. And we'll see you next week. Bye-bye, George. I love you.
Love you too. Bye.
Thank you for listening to Drum and Drummer. You can find us on Instagram at Drum and Drummer Podcast. And you can send us an email to drumanddrummerpod@gmail.com. Remember, just pick up the sticks and twat it.